This is Average Sports.
By your average guys.
Eric.
And Ty.
That
would be so bad.
Yeah. This is Average Sports.
Your average sports.
Average Sports.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of
You're listening to Average Sports with your average guys.
Average Sports, average guys, Eric and Ty.
Yes, it is the Average Sports Show with your average guys, Eric and Ty. Glad to have you guys tuning in for another episode, and it is going to be a very average one. We're not talking about, the NFC East kind of average. That is just below.
That's not even average.
No, that is below
the
average.
worst.
That's terrible. 3 wins total, and it's week 4. Ouch, Eric. Yikes. But anyway, glad again you guys are tuning in. We got a good show here for you. And, hey, let's kick it off the way we always do with the butthole in sports. Eric, what you got?
Oh, man, it's got to be the Tennessee Titans. With all this new information that's coming out, it sounds like even after they closed the facilities to try and help contain it and send all the players away, a bunch of the players decided to get together at a high school field. And their game has already been moved to, I believe, Tuesday already. And then the Pats game has also already been moved. So it's kind of moving that way. But the Titans-Bills game has been moved from Sunday to Tuesday already because the Titans just can't seem to get 2 days worth of negative tests, and a lot of people are giving a lot of backlash to the Titans, rightfully deserving and rightfully so. So they are this week's butthole in sports.
Well, he was our last butthole in sports. In the last episode, it was Djokovic, if you recall, that he was disqualified from the U.S. Open from hitting a linesman with a ball. Apparently, he did it again, but it's on accident. On accident, though. So, a little, but it was during a live ball, so it was, something.
So it was in play?
In play. So
I blame that on the linesman.
You got to kind of keep your head up.
You got a ludicrous set.
There's a lot of other stuff that happened in sports, and let's catch everybody up. Let's see, since last time, everyone is probably aware, but a congrats goes out to Tampa Bay for winning the Cup.
Yeah, super exciting, man.
Yeah.
I mean, Tampa has been, that favorite or that hot pick team for years because they've just dominated in the regular season, but they've really struggled in the playoffs because they just get out physicaled. And this year they brought in a bunch of big-bodied players, including last year's Stanley Cup champion, Pat Maroon, and he went ahead and did it again. They added 3 or 4 big bodies to their lineup, and it made a huge difference for them to make a nice deep run and obviously win the Cup. So congratulations to Tampa Bay. I'm excited about that. So, and the Cup will be coming back to St. Louis because Mr. Pat Maroon is from St. Louis.
Yeah,
so we will get it again, just not in the way that we had it last year.
And that's okay. That's all right. And then, congrats goes out to them.
Yeah, man, super exciting for them. And then the other thing is my Miami Heat, who not only did I pick them to beat the Bucks, beat them down, which they did. Mm-hmm. They then moved past and through the Eastern Conference Final against the Celtics, dominated them as well, 2-6. But now they're running up against the definitely the champion. I think most of us would have picked the Los Angeles Lakers. Seem to be handling the Heat quite well, even though the Heat are down or were down for some of their best players with Bam Adebayo being out and Goran Dragic being out as well. Games 2 and 3. Bam returned game 4, but not looking good for the Heat. But super strong season for the Heat. Congratulations to them. Even if they don't win, let's give them the praise now because they definitely didn't look like a team that would be there. Knowing full well the Lakers are probably going to win that series. So.
Right. Yeah, and I was glad to see the Denver Nuggets go as far as they did, but I have to say I was disappointed, though I didn't get to see that LA matchup that we had been talking about. I thought that one seemed to have a lot of promise, but oh well, maybe next year.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely what everyone was picking. I mean, the Clippers were an early season favorite when they landed Kawhi Leonard to be NBA champions this year. Didn't work out for them. They had the Magic kids out of Denver pull another 3-1 comeback on them to win that series. But the Nuggets fell short against the what seems to be the unstoppable Lakers at this point. So
right. Well, with that
that's where
commanding
we're at.
lead, at least at the time of recording this, they have not won yet, but I do emphasize yet. I think that's kind of decided there on that one. But let's get into our topic of this episode. The theme of 2020, as we all know, pandemic, COVID-19, and as we just mentioned with the Titans. Okay, so we know the information then. We know that something has, or the virus has impacted a team, and then what happens? So we're going to talk about the NFL and how the COVID, how that impacts, especially this early in the season, as opposed to what if this happens later in the season, and then maybe a little bit of fantasy implication as well. And I know leagues are kind of doing different things, but maybe I'm sure our buddy Eric here can fit in a little strategy for us.
Yeah, I mean, the big thing, the Patriots game getting moved today because Stephon Gilmore tested positive, cornerback for the New England Patriots, tested positive after that Chiefs game, and so they have already moved the Sunday afternoon game to Tuesday. It's Monday afternoon at 5 p.m. So that's 5 p.m. Eastern. So we're going to get some, afternoon football if you're in the Mountain or West Coast time zone there on Monday. So congratulations, enjoy that. But it is, if a team have this happens to them once, yes, it's already going to be a logistical nightmare to try and flip-flop it around. But as you saw with the Titans Steelers, they were able to do it pretty quickly and pretty easily. Now what you see happening is, okay, well, now this Titans game, this next Titans game against the Bills has already been moved to Tuesday. And what happens if the Titans just continue to get these positives like we saw with the Florida Marlins, or like we especially saw with the St. Louis Cardinals? This isn't baseball. You can't just play double headers to make these games up. Football does not work that way. Your body will not let you do that.
And nor is anyone even proposing a doubleheader.
No one is proposing that. But I think that just shows the difficulty of having to reschedule these NFL games. If the Titans now have to miss 2 games, especially because of conduct that they cause themselves, what does that do to the NFL season? What does that actually do to the legitimacy of that NFL season as far as, the games being won or the teams going into the playoffs? Is it just as simple as, all right, sorry, Titans, you guys are forfeiting until you can get this under control? And so, you just start going down the line with that and make it a little bit easier. Is that the answer, or is there, an answer where they, push games out a little bit, either, to that Tuesday and Monday and kind of flex it that way? I think we're going to see that as much as we can. But I think at the same time, if they can't get it under control, it's going to end up having to be something drastic. And I don't even know what that is. I mean, do you have any thoughts on what that might be?
I mean, I think there's too much committed into, we need the Super Bowl to happen and happen on time. They're going to try to compress it into the current season as it stands. We have this finite window, and I don't imagine that they would restructure the playoffs because they're already allowing more teams in this year than they have before. So you're just going to have to kind of jostle around schedules and just try and make it happen. Now, one thing that may happen is if this becomes more of a recurring theme, which is definitely a probability, then do you just try to get a bunch of teams? Okay, you're the teams that need to make up some games. We're all going to meet in Vegas or something and start playing these games in a bubble capacity, and where you have to, perhaps make them happen every 5 days or something like that. But there's only so many bye weeks a team can have.
Exactly. I mean, the Titans had to, spend theirs early and get it, reshuffled for them to do this. But it is concerning that if this continues, I mean, is the bubble the option for football to play this in something like a Vegas or an LA or Texas, or who knows, a place that has a bunch of, fields available to them that they can keep them in a bubble? It's
the safer alternative.
I'm interested to see what they're going to do.
Sure. And I think the real logical thing to do is you wind up disqualifying teams if it becomes just too much of a logistical nightmare. And talking about safety of players, if you say, for example, the Tennessee Titans have another COVID outbreak where they cannot play their scheduled game, that is a disqualification and a tie or a win to their opponent because they didn't do anything and they therefore should not be penalized, but you can't also ruin their record. So if really they may just get assigned a tie, and I think to me that seems like a fair way of going about it. So that way they're not hurting their win percentage and it'll essentially wash out then for their win-loss at the end of the year.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely a thought that I've had, and I like where your head's at there. So, you had asked another question there. Let's talk about the other implications. I mean, NFL is a business.
Yeah.
And
man, my fantasy team's struggling here.
Games.
Yeah.
And, I heard a suggestion today that I thought was genius, and I'm actually going to be bringing it up in every single one of my leagues. But that is, let's take the Tennessee Titans because this one's easy. So if someone has Derrick Henry, if Derrick Henry was playing, you're going to be playing Derrick Henry. We get that. So, but with these games being postponed, we don't really know if they're actually going to be played. What the suggestion is before kickoff on Sunday, you designate to the commissioner, hey, I'm starting Derrick Henry. If they play, I want Derrick Henry to play. But if he doesn't, I want this to be the player that gets subbed in. Not if Derrick Henry gets injured, not if something like that. But if the game itself gets postponed, then there's that switch. The commissioner will go in on the back end and swap out. Let's say you have Chris Carson on your bench, and you're going to throw him into that spot. Okay, hey, I'll move Chris Carson in if that game actually does get canceled or postponed. But it has to be designated before Sunday kickoff. Not even if it's the afternoon game, but like it was just Sunday at 11:59, or 12:59 Eastern. That's your cutoff if you want to get this player in to have a swap. But I thought that was genius because we have to be flexible in fantasy sports. If you are a commissioner, a good one, you have to be flexible and open to ideas like this in a game that is very.
Full disclosure here, Eric is a commissioner. He's an average one.
Whoa.
But if this is something you're looking to do, I mean, I could jump at that. Yeah, I'll take that. I think that is a good idea. What do you call a spot like that?
I mean, I don't know. I mean, I would have to, as a commissioner, I would just have to manage it and be like, hey, guys, this is what it is. If you have a Titans player or a Bills player, so like if you have Josh Allen, like you are really punished by not being able to play him in a game that he was scheduled to play.
Right.
So it's like, hey man, like I want to play him if he's going to play. So, okay, hey, I'll pick up Drew Brees. I'll play him. If Josh Allen is unable to play the game, because it's postponed, sub in Drew Brees. I mean, it would just have to be a manual thing. But, I think that's really the only way to manage it. And you can, change lineups on the back end. That's easy. But it's a manual process. But I mean, you definitely have to have buy-in from your commissioner, or at least an active one, to be able to do this.
Yeah. Well, some good food for thought on the fantasy side, and something definitely worth interesting to pay attention to. It just adds to the whole drama that is the NFL, mixing in this pandemic. It's going to be interesting, much like anything else. The NFL, as we've predicted, as not to many people's surprise, that they are also not immune from the effects. But let's move on in the show, talking about our Who You Got spot. Eric, I'm excited to talk about a little baseball. That's right.
Oh, I know you
Postseason.
are. So,
World Series champion. That's what we're picking here, huh? Okay.
Yes, I love it. So a little quick rundown. Who's left? Dodgers, Padres, Braves, Astros, Rays, Yankees. Ty, who you got?
Real simply, the Dodgers. They're going to finally do it. This is too easy of a chance for them, I feel like, because they are also winning 2-0 against the Padres in that series.
I'm going in the same side, but I'm going to go ahead and take the Braves against the Tampa Bay Rays. I'm going to call that one. Okay. And the Braves are going to win it.
See, the Braves disappointed me last year, and I guess I didn't pick a World Series opponent from the AL, so I'm going to go with Tampa Bay just because that's my favorite out there.
I like it.
Yep. All right.
Oh, man, and moving on to my favorite portion of the show. Ty, you got that soundbite ready?
Wait, let me warm it up.
Oh, no.
Yeah, I was a little late, but...
This is why this is so average, and we're just going to keep this rolling. This is going into the show.
You got to let me know when we're really going to do it, but I can play it, man.
That's why we're average here.
Yeah.
My favorite segment of the show, Lightning Standings. Boom.
I get a little effects package that just does not belong in the show, but yet again, there it is.
There we go.
We all right.
So we are doing MLS standings. In case you didn't know, obviously we talked about this a lot during the summer because the MLS was the first major sports league to come back. They played their tournament. The MLS tournament is back in July.
Yeah.
We crowned a champion there.
Yeah.
The Portland Timbers, if I remember correctly.
Yes.
But we are officially back in MLS. Most teams have played. Actually, I want to say every
15
team
or
has
16.